Hey everybody. All right, so today we're going to be creating our custom mob. This is part two of our mob, of our custom mob, of my custom mob series. So we're going to be doing that today. So we're going to open up Techne, and we're going to get going here. So I'm going to try and make this in as quick as possible. We're just going to make a quick little mob, and we're not going to make anything too complicated. So we're going to call it... let's call him Ready. We just gotta pick a name for him. He's gotta pick a name for him. Let's see. Let's make him. Let's make his. Let's call. It's called the mob something. Let's call it Ready. Ready Freddy. Why not? Let's call him Ready Freddy. Now I am gonna up. Now I am gonna up the texture just for just for my own purposes. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but it basically gives you a bigger area to work with when with your texture, so you can have a higher quality texture than you normally would. So we're just gonna click create, and I know we already started creating one and we created all the pieces and all that stuff, but we're going to start right from scratch on this one. So but this is where we were the last time. Pretty much we had a blank slate, so we're just going to add a shape down at the bottom left here to create a shape, and we're just going to give it some dimensions. I'm just going to make it 6 by, let's say, 12 by 9 or something like that. Maybe not 9. That's too wide. Let's go like that. Let's make it longer. Maybe not that long. Let's go like that, and then wider. So here, so this is the start of our texture. So now, basically, what we're gonna. So I'll explain this blue ball here first off. So this blue ball is the pivot point. Is like the joint of this piece. But now for the body, we don't really need to work with it at least in this tutorial. We don't need to work with it, so we can just leave that the way it is, and we don't need to tinker with it. And I'm going to make this bigger, since this is our texture up over here. This is what the texture map is going to look like, and I'll go through this in a little bit more detail a little bit later. We can make stuff huge. You can make it as big or as small as you want. And it's basically going to show you how much space you have to work with and all that fun stuff. So let's just go with that. Let's change its position. I want to keep it there, and I'm just going to move it this way. There we go. Move it into the middle. There, we got 2 blocks on each side. So this is what we're working with. This is the start of our mob. And so basically all this block, all this wood block is here for you. Okay, so basically this square block, what it is basically just showing you that that's what one block is. That's all it's saying. So it's nothing that you really have to. It's just to show you proportions to the world. And I think, yeah, that seems to be a pretty good proportion. Except for we're going to raise it up some. So we're going to raise it up. So we're going to put some feetsies on this thing. So we'll just go, well, that's too high. Let's go 10. Yeah, that's good. So now we're going to create another. So actually, we're going to rename this shape first. We're going to call this body. Just name them so you know what they are. And then we're going to click add another shape, and it's going to add another shape right here. This shape, this is going to be our left leg. Actually, in proportion to where his body or his head's going to be, this is the front of him, so this is actually his right leg. And we are going to make it a height of 10, since that's what we made the offset 10. So we're going to make it 10 by, let's say, 5 by 5. And we'll see how that looks after we get it down there. So now if you want to go down, you want to increase the Y. When you want to go up, you decrease the Y. And the Y, so it's X, Y, Z always. X, Y, Z. So X is always your first box, Y is always your second box, and Z is always your third box. So we're going to move this down. And it's going to move. Now, if you don't use crazy positions and like crazy sizes, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with this. See, now it's not going to be wide enough yet. We're going to have to make it, see that, or remove it back some. So on the Z axis, we want to increase the Z axis. See, our guy isn't quite center, so it needs to be like 1.5 to be right in the middle. That looks good. I like that. So now you may wonder, actually, yeah, we're not quite done with positioning. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Actually, I'm going to click here and then click on the leg. All right. So yeah. So if you click on this on one object, it will focus on it, and then if you click on another, it'll focus on that one. So this blue ball, since that is the joint, we don't want the joint on the corner of his leg. We need to offset it so that it's in the middle. So we're just going to kind of drag it this way, and we are going to have to relocate our leg afterwards, but we can kind of judge that depending on what our offset is. Okay, so it's got to be 2.5. -2.5. That's right in the middle that way. And now we got to just the Z, or yeah, we want to decrease the Z to pull it forward. That means we want to go to the side for this, and it's going to have to be, since it is 2.5, since it is a 5 wide block, we need to go -2.5. And there we go. So now we got our block. So now basically we want to subtract. We want to add 2.5 to this one. Let's see. Okay, we're right line. It actually might work out perfectly for us without having to do anything. Let's increase the Z, or the X. I'm sorry, the X. And actually, yeah, I said we don't want it right at the front. We want it back further. No, it's already. It's not quite ready on the X yet. It's going to be 4. So if you're doing the exact same as me, you can pretty much just copy my numbers, and everything will be working good. Now, if this is a little bit jerky, but that's only because I'm using my. So we want 3.5. Actually, let's put it in half, because that's what we're. It's actually 2.5 might not be a bad place. -2.5. I mean. I don't know. Oh yeah, and you use your right mouse button to circle around your shape. Actually, that seems to be the right spot for it right there. So basically now our joints. Now if we take these rotation, it's going to rotate on those axes. So let's see here. See if we can find one that's going to move. If we got to click on our shape. There we go. So now when we click on, see now it's going to rotate it at that blue ball, because that's where we're asking it to move it from. So you could do a multiple bone, like the Enderman has multiple. No, he just has longer bones. But if you want to make it like a more realistic walking animation for this, and we'll get to that in the next video, what you would do is you make the leg 2 different objects. You would have maybe like thigh and shin, and maybe even foot, and then you'd have those as separate, and you would just have that blue ball connecting to each other, so you can basically just animate it. That's really complicated, and we're not going to go that far. I'm just going to basically just do a bunch of blocks, just to keep it simple. Now we should be able to copy this leg and paste it. So copy, paste. So now we have 2 right legs. We're going to change this to left leg. And then, so it basically just gave us the same shape, so we don't have to customize the shape anymore. Now our offset is still going to be 2.5, 2.5, -2.5, sorry. Go go to the beginning, negative 2.5 and negative 2.5, I believe. Yep, so now it's right in the center. Now we can move it down. So it's on the y-axis. You want to move it down. So now if we click up on the body, kind of move our... That's going to focus in on the leg a little bit more. So that's good. Actually, that's perfect. Now we want to move it over on the X. And then put it back on the Z. So you see, you can design your mob to be any way you want it to be. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. But this is, this is just a basic tutorial on how to create a mob. So now we got that rotation. We can test it. Yeah, it works the same way. Look at that. That's fantastic. Just going to set that back to 0. I'm going to do the same thing with this and make sure they're all 0. Good. All right, so now we can move on to our next shape, which is going to be a head. I may forget about arms this time, just to keep it simple. But you can kind of get the idea of how this would work. So dimensions, let's make it 5 by 5 by 5 to start with. And we're going to position it the other way. We're going to put it up here. Oh, it's got to be much bigger. Let's go 10 in each of those. We're going to give it a nice huge head. All right, so we want to pull that up a little bit more. I'm gonna kind of put his head inside of his body a little bit on my model here, and the at is fine. Need to decrease the X, so that's right in the center. As you can see, it's in the wrong direction. So I actually have to I don't want to do the offset yet. I want to get my bearings. So there we go. That's what we're going to go with. And there's one more thing I want to explain first, or after I get this all done. So since he's a 10 by 10, we need to texture. We need to do the. Describe. No, I will. I'll tell you what this texture offset means. So basically, the offset, we're gonna set this so 5, 5. And then 10 here. And actually, those all have to be negative numbers. Not positive. -5, -5, -5, and negative. Come on. -5. So now that has centered the ball at the very bottom of his head. And actually, I want to move it back some. Since when I'm positioning it, so I'm going to move it on the Z. I'm going to move it back slightly, since I'm having the head go into the body a little bit. And that's going to work a little bit better. So now we just got to adjust our positioning. Just even numbers for this one. So this should be a pretty easy placement. And then we're going to increase the Y to bring the head down to body level. I might actually be able to go right there. Maybe right. Actually, let's put it right here. And then the Z, we want to increase the Z to bring him back. Oh, he's looking fantastic already. All right. So now that we got that much done, I'm just going to stop the video. You got the basics of it, and you can finish up the arms. I'll do the arms, and then we'll come back and we'll go from there. Now, one thing I do want to explain before I go to finish this is the texture offset. So this is our texture up over here in this top left-hand corner, or the top right-hand corner, sorry. So now if we click on the head, we can offset the texture. So if we increase this, so you can see that's the texture for the head. So we can position this in a different spot So let's say we put it right over in this corner. And if you start to go too far, it will start taking it away from the... See, there you go. So it's starting to take the shape away, but we just want to put that back. I'm just going to put it right in that corner. Right there, and then we can grab the body. We'll move it. Now you're going to have to do this for each and every shape because you basically have to define what body parts go where. You have to, so when you texture it, you can just, it'll export a texture for you, and then you can just overwrite the texture with what you want it to be, and then it's all said and done and ready for you to go. So I'm just going to put the body over here. I'm going to put some space in between those two. And then we're going to go down and we're going to grab one of our legs. Let's go to the left leg and do the same thing. Texture offset it. I'll leave these at the top. So pretty much, actually, yeah, I'll move them down to the bottom instead of the top. Alrighty, that's about good. And actually, I'm gonna make it go right to the bottom, so it should be 64. I'll go right there. Right there, fantastic. Grab the other leg and do the same thing. So actually, what was that position? That was 49. So let's grab the 49, plug that right in here, 49, and there we go. So we got our textures out. Now I'll come back when I got the rest of it finished. All right, so we're back, and I finished up the arms. I just put them straight out like that for now anyway. The legs are pretty short, but that's fine. This is basically just like a test. I'm not going to do a lot of work into making this, but that's basically what we're going to go for with our mob here. Is this basic shape? I will have images I'll have an image in the description below with all of the different parameters. So if you want to make this exact same object, you can just go through. I'll have this little parameter window up over here. With the dimensions, the position, the offset, the texture offset, and all that, you can have that stuff all in the exact same way as I have it, so that you can easily just follow exactly what I'm doing for this. Because this is going to get a little bit complicated when it comes to actually coding it, because we got to code the animation and things like that, which may be tough. We'll see. We'll have to see. But I've just done a very basic model: arms, legs, hands, head. Everything can, in fact, rotate. So there's the head. Actually, let's see where the head's rotating on. So you may have to adjust that bone a little bit, because yeah, it's on the top. It's pivoting along the top there. So, but where's the bone isn't at the top, is it? Let's go head. No, the bone is underneath. I'm almost here. Oh, I put it right in the middle. sorry about that. I'm actually gonna put it. That's the texture offset. Crap. Don't want to change that. So just got to increase that a few. There we go. So I want to adjust this offset. Yeah, it's right there at the top. I'm going to put it at the bottom instead. Like that. See, it's at the front. So I'm going to move that to the middle, or move it in some on the Z. Let's say right about there. And now basically we're going to put that. So let's grab our position. And we can adjust our bone if we have to where we want it to be. As long as we have the head where we want it to be, which that's too far out, so I got to move it back on the Z. like that. Now the bone's in the right spot. Yep, it's right at the front there. So now when we click on the head, now we're going to be able to, it's going to move on that point. So you can see that. It's fantastic. All right, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. For this part, I'm going to break this up into parts because you can probably take some. If you are going to design your own, you can take some time and make up your model to really, if you. So I'll just start that again. If you're going to make your own model, take your time. If this is going to be for an actual tutorial that you're going to, or an actual mod that you're going to do, take the time, make sure it's done right, and you do it right the first time, because changing it later is going to be a little bit tough. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is what we got here. This is basic. Now I'm going to show you how to export this, and then from there, we will take a look at texturing and other things like that, and go from there. So one more thing, another thing that I want to point out, as you can see here, all these other ones are whited out, and this one, in this part of the texture, is lit up. So basically that's saying that this is all of your different sides. So if you look at this, or this is the head, this is the part of the image for the head. So if you turn this, turn it somewhat to the side, you'll see that in the bottom right hand corner of our view window, we have an F and an R. That means front and right. So you can see on here, front, right, left, back, top, and bottom. So the bottom is green. Okay. The top and bottom are green, and the other ones are all so the bottom row of this one here, for example, is all going to be red, or all going to be like the green ones are your top and bottom in this case, because you can see right there's the D at the bottom, and then when you go up to the top, it also it's also green, and the colors almost correspond, kind of. So yeah, you got that. And then the same for all the other ones. So if you're having problems texturing them, you can go back into here, and you can just click around, see where they are, and you can kind of look at the texture to see where all the faces are, or even just like pull this up and say, okay, so the front is F, left, back, right, and things like that. So you can do all that stuff. It's very, very, very simple to figure that out. So now that we've gotten that done, we're going to first save our file. So we're going to click save. I already had the redstone mob, but we're calling this one different. What did we call this guy? We called him Ready Freddy. Okay, so Ready Freddy. Alrighty. And we're going to save it as a Techni model on the share. And then another thing we're going to do, we're not done yet, because now we need to export it as Java, as JavaScript, so we can use it, or as Java space script so we can use it within our mod. So then we want to export Java. So I'll go over that again. So it's file, export as Java. Click on that. And then in the same spot, so I'm on the Windows, on my share folder, which if you haven't watched part 1 of this tutorial, and you're doing this on a Mac, watch the first part. I'll show you how to do this on how to, like I'm running this in a Windows 8 virtual machine right now on my Mac. And yeah, so we're basically going to save it here. And then we're gonna be good to go. So we can click save, and now it's saved. So now if I open up that folder on my Mac here, as you can see, we have the readyfreddy.tcn, which is the Techni file, and there's the Redstone Mob Techni file, and here's the Ready Freddy JavaScript. So basically, you can code these. Like you don't have to use a modeler to model your character. All you really have to do is code it. You can code it yourself. But what this does is it sets up everything properly for you, so everything, so that you can design it in there, you can see it visually without actually having to code it and then go into the game and check it and all that stuff. This just makes it so much easier to bring your mob into the game. So public model Ready Freddy. So make sure that you name the file that you're, like, when you create the project, make sure you name it what you want it to be. So I want mine to be Ready Freddy, so it's model Ready Freddy and all that good stuff. So now we'll be able to import this into our project and use it within that as well. And we'll get to that the next time for the next part of this, which is going to be actually working with the animation, getting it like that, getting it in game, spawning and all that stuff. We'll work on an egg, a Ready Freddy spawn egg as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I'll see you guys next time. Give love to the Facebook page, the Twitter page, Instagram. I have a new Instagram. I have, if this wasn't in the last video, I have Instagram.com/Shakarudin. So if you want to follow me on there too, I'll be posting images every so often. I'm going to try and get better with that. And I was at a car show this past weekend. It was kind of like my weekend vacation. Even though I was replying to comments and things like that, I wasn't doing anything to do with the tutorial series or the channel other than replying to comments, because I'm not going to make people wait for help getting themselves going. So I was at a car show. It was fantastic. It was fun. I'm sunburnt all over, so that's that's good. That's not, but yeah. So that's so yeah. I'll be using Instagram some more, Twitter, Facebook, all those pages. I need some more likes on Facebook so I can start using the analytics and things like that on there. And you guys can more easily find out about my content, because YouTube doesn't always post stuff. It doesn't always post stuff to your uploads feed on your YouTube. So just to make sure that you get everything, you can like those pages. Twitter, stuff is auto posted there as soon as it's uploaded, so you're gonna get it. And so that's pretty much it for today. I will see you guys next time. Probably you're going to see this Tuesday. I'm recording this Monday night, so you're going to see this Tuesday. Should have another one up Wednesday or Thursday with the continuation of this. So I will see you guys then to work on some animation and some other cool stuff with creating our own custom mobs.